prepared to light the fire now, aren't we, mate?
Yeah,
We've got heaps of sticks. And yes, and the idea is to be prepared in advance, hey, mate? Yep, so we've got our little twigs. We've got our lighter tinder, which is actually from the grass trees. It's all dried out, very easily burnt. We've got our really light stuff, our leaves, some stringy bark mixed in there as well. A bit of paper bark here as well, that will come in handy when we need to start getting set up inside that there. Stringy bark here as well. Alright, Sully, so when trying to light a fire from scratch, one of the most important things to get, especially is if you're trying to do it by hand, you need a hand drill. You can get that from the grass. So as you can see here, this is the stem, and that's what you're chasing. You find them just laying out in the forestry. Normally dried out too because they're quite old. The other thing you're also going to need is a piece of very dry timber. This stuff had been through a bushfire by the looks of it. I peeled all the bark off it. I split the timber directly down the center, which gave me 2 halves. And then I've been using this as my fireboard. So this is what I've been drilling into. And the idea is you want to drill very close to one of these edges. I've chosen the far edge. And as you can see, I've already got 3 drills into it. That's just by hand drilling into the wood. What you've got to do to get it to work, you've actually got to V out the edge. As you can see from the bottom here, it's not enclosed, it's actually open to the air. And you V out those edges there. That way the hot ash falls out of it while you're drilling them, falls onto the paper bark below. Which leads us on to the next part of it that you need. So there's multiple components to actually get it to work. The baseboard is one, the hand drill is one, and then your paper bark is very important as well. And the reason it's so important is this is what catches the hot embers that's coming out of the actual baseboard itself. So the idea is you want to set it up onto top of the paper bark, and then you're drilling down into that, and the hot amber falls out onto the kindling that we're going to be putting underneath here. And the tinder itself, you make a tinder nest, it's called, and we're going to be building that out of some stringy bark, which is what I'll show you next. Alright, so this here is the actual stringy bark, and it's brittle, easily broken apart. It's very dry. This is some old stuff, so it's been sitting for quite some time. And the idea is you want to make a tinder nest out of this. The way you do that is you just break it into manageable pieces, and then you want to, so it fits into your palm of your hand. This is the way I found it easiest to do. And then you roll it like so. You just want to keep rolling it until all the fibres start coming out, so you're crushing it. What you're left with is this very fine, it's like coconut husk. And that's what you want to drop your amber into while you're doing it. Now, stringy bark has many uses, but the main use that I've found it for is to make tinder nests, is to make fire, that's right. And the reason is, you can break it down so that it's almost like coconut husk. And then you just basically sit the rest of that underneath the fireboard, and the hot embers will fall off into it. And it gives you a good material to actually blow the amber into to promote the fire. Traditionally it was also used to make string. You could use to make string to secure axe heads to handles. Now I've also seen this material not just as a string but also as a thread. And they use it to sew up the paper bark. Bits of this here, use it to sew it up to make baskets and stuff like that out of it as well, by putting thread to close them up like that. So it's an interesting bit of kit from the scrub. Alright, so now once again we've got our paper bark. You can see I've previously used it to do exactly what we're about to do. You want to get your tinder nest, which is over here, that we prepared just before. You want to put it on top here. All this fine material, you want that on there as well. The finer the better.
And then you need this piece of wood.
That's right, that's the fireboard. Yep, you'll need that on there as well. Yep, so you put that on there.
So you
And the
can
grass
use that
tree
too.
stem as well, that's correct. And we'll use that in a moment. Now you want to be able to secure this board to the surface as much as possible as well. The best way we've found, hey Solly, to secure the board, because you don't want any movement in that. If you've got movement in that, it's not going to work for you, it's wasted energy. So you've got to secure it. And the way you secure it is by putting the stick across it and then stepping onto the stick to put all your weight down on it to lock it, to stop it from moving. That way while you're drilling, it won't move and you're going to get as much energy into that point as possible. A bit of luck, hot amber will come out. You should be able to see it smoking and then you just start blowing on it. Okay, Solly, now there was one more thing we had to do before we could progress. What was it, do you know?
I
Oh, you've forgotten. Okay, so everything's ready to go. The only thing we haven't done is prepared where we're going to put our tinder nest. Once it's in flames, we've got to be able to put it somewhere. And that's why we're going to put it into this rocket stove. So we need to prepare the fire in here, so we have to stack it in there. And that's not how we're going to do it. What we're going to want is we're going to want some softer material, so such as a stringy bark, that would be handy. Just a little bit of it. And you want to be able to just layer it straight in there. And that'll give us something to work with. And then we can look at adding some of this softer material, Solly. We had some gum leaves, Solly. That would be good, wouldn't it, mate? Yeah, we had some gum leaves. Good to go.
That was hard. Just get some extra stuff. This is definitely possible.
That's why you got to do it on the paper bark. Just do it to one before going. Again, not as easy as it looks. Okay, see. Let's leave it for time then. So we'll see if we can. Grab the camera for me and bring it over. Actually, I can do it. Yeah, so the paper bark's on fire now, that's a good thing. Magpies come down to watch. I think that's it, Sully, we got it.
Yay! We got it going.
So we put the paper bark out. That way we can use it again next time. How cool is that?
So cool.
So cool. And finally, Solly gets his fire.